Living happy, living fun-loving, and living carefree is what you are doing right now today, helping you live your dreams. I'm out here splitting firewood because, hey, I should have done it months and months ago. It's getting cold out. I'm actually kind of chilly today in just a shirt. But, that's one of my chores is getting firewood ready for the wood stove to help heat our house. Is what you are doing helping you live the dream that you want to live. And, the thing that I'm getting to here is we're always coming up with all kinds of excuses, with going to our jobs and doing the routine, and we just end up living life in neutral. And we talk about, what state should you move to? Is this a good state? Is this a bad state? Is the state I'm in okay? Should I move to another state? And decisions like that are really important, and you really, you want to think about them, but at the same time, you don't want those decisions to stop you from living your dream, from doing something. And, the road of life is littered with flat squirrels that couldn't make a decision. So you need to make a choice, and while picking where you're going to live or what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, those things are important choices. They're not the most important choice. The most important choice is to do what you want to do and quit living in neutral and just thinking about what you want to do, and then the days turn in. I mean, here it is, almost 2019. There's just not much time left. It's going to be 2020. It's like, hey, where did this whole year go to? So you need to think about what you want to do, and sometimes you just need to do it. As Ray Bradbury said, you just jump off the cliff and you build your wings on the way down. And I feel, in my life, I've made quite a few trips around the sun on this rock that we're all riding on. But I feel fortunate that, the things that have happened in my life and the choices that I've made have got me to where I am right now today. Everything that I did, got me here. And so to say I would do things different, then I wouldn't be where I am now. And the point of that is, I grew up on a small family business that my grandfather started. So from a very, very young age, I grew up in the family business, so I knew what it was like to be self-employed. And then I went to college, and I got a corporate job and was doing real well in that job, making advancements and getting promotions. And it was about maybe 3 years into that job, and the company decided to sell. We were in the Midwest. They decided to sell to a business out in California, and 6 months later, everybody in the company didn't have a job. And I vowed that type of thing was, that false security of having a job rather than doing your own thing isn't real. And I lived it in my 20s, early in my life. And just up the road, a nearby town here, a factory business that has employed, it's nearly 1,000 people. They're closing their doors, and I think the company's moving to Texas or something like that. So, all those people that thought they had a secure job. Now, in this particular case, it didn't just happen overnight. It's been sort of going on for a couple of years. People knew the writing was on the wall. Pardon me. But the point there is that false security of, because you have a traditional job that you go to and you get a paycheck every week or 2 weeks, that's somehow more secure, because you never ever know what's going to happen that way. When you're driving your own bus, when you're living your own life, when you're on your homestead, whether you're in a small business or whatever you're doing, you know what's going on, and there's no surprises that way. So that's something to think about, is Think about the states that you want to live in. Think about what you're doing right now. Is that moving closer to your dream or where you want to go? And sometimes, just take the leap. Like I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago about, riding around on this rock planet Earth around the sun hurling through space, is I've made in my life, I guess what I would call 3 big decisions that early on, shortly after that happened when I was in my 20s, we packed up everything we owned and we got in a rental truck and drove over halfway across the country to start a whole new life. And then not too long ago, we did the same thing. We sold everything that we owned. We packed up everything we had in a trailer, and we moved down to the Gulf Coast onto a sailboat. And we lived on that sailboat for 9 years. And then we packed everything up, and we moved, to where we are right now. So sometimes you just have to take that believing in yourself leap of faith, instead of trying to dot all the I's and cross all the T's and doing all your research and planning and thinking, should I move to this state? Should I move to this state? Do I want to live in the north where we have 4 seasons? Do I want to live in the south where it's warm? Do I need to be close to this or that? How far out in the country? Do we want to have power, be off grid? All those things are important choices, but they're not the most important choice. The most important choice is to just get going in the first place. Load up everything you own in the vehicle and say goodbye to the landlord and take off and just risk, just jump. And, things will work out. If you want to live happy, fun-loving, and carefree, splitting firewood when you should have had it done months ago, real life gets in the way of your plans. And so I just want you to do what you want to do, whatever it is that you're driving the bus of your life, and you're not just going through the motions of living in neutral and being, indecisive. I don't want you to be that flat squirrel in the road. Just make a decision. And it doesn't really matter which one it is, as long as it's something that's moving you closer to what you want to do, because we want you to live happy, fun-loving, and carefree, whatever life that is for you. So subscribe and watch another video. We'll talk about this more. We'll talk about the fun things that we're doing on the homestead, and I'm doing some new entertaining things that I talked about in the last video, and we'll do some more along those lines soon.